might not have touched on yet?
One of the things I have not touched on was the alleged $100 million that was spent on our independence anniversary. And it all falls within the figures that I had indicated. That if you look at the budget that was presented and approved by the National Assembly, fisheries was allocated 561 million. Tourism 54 million, for a total of 110 million. Water resources, fisheries and water resources, for a total of 110 million. Now, if you add fisheries, agriculture, youth, tourism together, the total is $1.098 billion. Now, that is less than what was allocated to the Ministries of Finance and Foreign Affairs. It's also less than what was allocated to the Ministry of Infrastructure. What is the point there? The point is that these are our productive sectors of the economy. And if you cannot invest in them to create wealth and employment, then you end up with things like $200 million is being budgeted for entertainment, $800 million is to be budgeted for buying cars, $351 million budgeted for fuel and lubricants. Now, all of these are being based on grants, loans, and taxes. That's the essence of the structure of our economy: taxes, grants, and loans. No country can develop like that. And that is why you're seeing this huge pattern of borrowing, because gaps need to be filled. Even with the development partners, those that give us budget support in the form of grants. Now, if the minister goes before Parliament and says, the budget was late because we were waiting for our development partners to tell us what their allocations are going to be for grants, that's a serious matter. Because normally, these development agencies, and as I said the last time, I was on that side of the equation. Normally, you get your budget approved in January. You start negotiating with the government in terms of what the possibilities are. By the end of the first quarter, you have a clear idea of how much you're going to give grant support to. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, up to December, if they don't knock on your door, you don't knock on their door, you know they're not going to give it. So stopgap measures have to be taken in order to fill that void that the development partners have created by not supporting what you are asking for. So that brings us to another issue, which was in the public domain, but I don't think we paid a whole lot of attention to.
Which is?
Which is the AFREXIMBANK Bank.
AFREXIM?
AFREXIM.
Okay. The one headquartered in Cairo?
Cairo. You know, they've provided a facility, $75 million facility to the National Roads Authority.
75 million?
75 million.
Dollars, not dollars?
Dollars.
Wow.
To build 2,000 kilometers of roads. But because the National Roads Authority cannot borrow, the Ministry of Finance underwrote this $75 million US dollars. And the contours of the agreement basically says that this 75 million will be given to a local bank to disburse on behalf of the Gambia government. And guess who that local bank is?
Who's that local bank?
I don't know. I want them to come and tell us. This is the one local bank that government tends to, whose owner the government tends to give business to.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
75 million for 2,000 kilometers of roads, yet unidentified. And this has been in the public domain, but it's been quiet because the contours of it have not been made public. Now, what is surprising about this is that this bank headquartered in Cairo normally does not do these kinds of things.
So why is it doing it for us?
Because it's in their very best interest. They are the ones who are going to benefit maximally from this arrangement. And whatever bank is on the local side that is managing the resource, because as you know, the dollars are brought in, and you peg the exchange rate is controlled, and depending on the control level of the exchange rate, the dispensing bank can make fortunes out of an arrangement like this. Again, you have to ask, is this in our best national interest? Is this what we should be doing as a country? I think I think we need a critical rethink of how this government operates. Critical rethink only in the sense that huge amounts of money are being brought into this country, and you don't see their impact on the lives of daily lives of average Gambians. No matter what they say, no matter who says it, Gambians are hungry, they are tired. And I don't want to hear this business of saying the inflation rate that we are experiencing is all over the world. Yes, it's all over the world, but the rest of the world are dealing with it in more substantive ways than ours giving an excuse for it. We need to, and I think I said this before, during the COVID period, we need to have a situation where this government has to consult people who know how to do these things and create a system of palliatives to help Gambians. You know, this Ramadan, a bag of Saddam last month was 3,250. Today, 3,250. Today, it's 3,500. Bag of Saddam.
Wow.
Now, onions I don't even want to go to because that has been debunked. Yeah. But the point I'm making is that cost of living in this country is high. People are falling below the poverty line. Now, for some farmers up country, they need to be paid their groundnuts. And the payment modality that they have introduced also benefits a local business person in terms of electronic transfers of resources. Now, I'm a farmer. I toil the soil for a whole year. I bring you my produce. You can't pay me. You link me up with essentially a middle person who provides the resources that you need to pay me. But in the provision of that resource, I need to have a smartphone. And if I don't have a smartphone, I have to find a way to receive my money from this individual. And when I receive that money, I'm charged a service fee. So our economic policies beg the question, where is the common sense in some of the things that we do? Now, when I say there are people around who can do these things, I honestly feel there are Gambians, very qualified, well-trained Gambians, even in the area of negotiating concessions. Some of us have done this before.
Yeah, but the problem with some of you is you are in opposition. You're in the
yes,
you're in the UDP.
But you know, only in the Gambia do you see something like that. Because in other countries, they tap each citizen's know-how. It's up to them to knock on our door, help us. If they don't do that, we won't be able to help, would we? Here, if you are not with the government, you are the enemy. No matter what you know, no matter what your experience is. And I am saying, if you go back to even Jawara's time, Jawara used to consult very widely. He used to hire people who are critical of his government to do certain specific things. Yeah. We've lost that in Jammeh's regime. We've lost it in this regime. And this is why we are in the kind of mess that we are in. Now, let us forget about the 75 million for now. Let's go to Mega Bank. I think I said Mega Bank was sold in these studios over there
Yes.
in 2022. And everybody was mute. Some people send messages and say, no, you are a liar. Well, hello, Mega Bank has been sold.
It has indeed.
And it was sold in 2022. Only now, through questioning in Parliament, are we realizing how Mega Bank was sold and who bought it. But we still haven't put a handle on the amount of money Mega Bank was sold for. Because this is a bank that was set up by taxpayers' money. It's the taxpayers' bank. And according to my information then, they created it with about an initial outlay of about $600 million to create the bank. 600 million to create the bank. And when they sold it for another 600 million. And nobody knows where the assets of that bank are. Now, the question then becomes, who bought it? The information that is being released, not from the government, but from social media commentators, is that the people who bought it are close to the center of power in the government.
But we still don't have their identity.
We still don't have their identity known. And I think they owe it to us to tell us how much the bank was established for, what were its profit margins, because it was making money, and how much it was sold for, so that Gambians can understand the kind of economic thinkers we have. People who just liquidate our national assets without due regard to the cost factor against everybody else. The bridge was done like that. They could have made 300 million from that bridge. They made 100 million. They said that 100 million was supposed to go to infrastructure activities. We don't know what that 100 million was used for.
It could have taken care of the 75 million.
75 million that this
NRA.
This NRA thing is being done. So when we shout that things are not right, these are the concerns that we have as concerned citizens, as citizens who know how these things are done and how to do it. So when we criticize, it is to criticize as loyal citizens of the Republic, not enemies of the Republic, as some of them tend to label some of us for. And I dare say some of us are even more patriotic than they think. Because I would not sign a $75 million or $76 million initiative and distribute it the way this has been done. I will never do that. And I don't think any one of us who've been out there who have done these things will do something like that. But it is being done, and it is not good for the country.
So that's a question on Mega Bank to be answered.
Yes.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jar Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations.